If the British have a say in the automobile industry today, there is no doubt that one of the biggest shares in this situation belongs to Aston Martin. The company, which has not compromised its traditions since its establishment, draws attention with its luxury tools produced entirely by hand workmanship. In fact, Aston Martin engraves the name of the last worker who worked on that vehicle to indicate this situation. For this reason, all of the cars that draw attention with their robustness and quality materials are actually works of art. In addition, one of the traditions of the company is the contrast of plastic materials used in vehicles. You cannot see plastic material at the factory of any vehicle with the Aston Martin logo. The brand, which has such a traditionalist structure, has undergone quite different processes, as it will surely be observed in every success story. Interestingly enough, the brand's history has changed with James Bond, a feature film. Of course, the company was known before that, but with the film, its popularity reached its peak. The vehicles used in the James Bond movie were ordered by thousands of people without the need for advertising. In fact, the company has recently unveiled the new DB10 model with the concept of James Bond's latest luxury Aston Martin model, exclusive to this movie. Aston Martin, which is among the most luxurious brands today, of course adorns the dreams of many car lovers. Maybe you too. Okay, but how much information do you have about this brand you are passionate about? I think after studying this article, you will realize that there are many missing things. Here's what you haven't heard about Aston Martin, the giant brand of the British. Where does the name of the first Aston Martin car come from? Did you know that the first Aston Martin model produced in 1915 was called the Coal Scuttle? Coal Scuttle stands for coal bucket. In fact, the shape of the car is so named because it is compared to a coal bucket. However, the three-seater car with a four-cylinder 1.5-liter engine is also known as the only Aston Martin model produced before World War I. Aston Hill Lionel Martin and Robert Bamford started selling their own cars with the companies they named Singer. Lionel Martin started to compete on Aston Hill, near Aston Clinton. The couple finally decided to manufacture their own car and founded Aston Martin. On the other hand, although Aston Hill is no longer used in auto racing, the region is known as one of the most popular mountain bike tracks of today. The inspiration for the Aston Martin logo? If you think the wings on the Aston Martin logo belong to a bird, I'm sorry but you're very wrong. Because the wings in the logo are designed inspired by a scarab beetle. The story of this is as follows. S.C.H. Davis continues to work as both a race driver and an ancient Egyptologist. Redesigning the logo of Aston Martin, the name decided to use the scarab beetle, which is thought to symbolize the sun god in ancient Egypt. DB series of Aston Martin. The origin of Aston Martin DB9, one of the luxury models of today, goes back to DB2 produced in 1950. Namely, the name of the DB models refers to the initials of David Brown. We can say that David Brown was the person who bought Aston Martin in 1974. 102-year history of Aston Martin. After Aston Martin was founded in 1913, it became a company owned by many different names. Lionel Martin and Robert Bamford are the company's first founders. But after selling these two entrepreneurial companies to a group of investors in 1926, Aston Martin fell under the yoke of countless names. These, a consortium led by David Brown in 1947, Company Developments Limited in 1972, then Peter Sprague and George Minden, Victor Gauntlet in 1981, Ford in 1987, and David Richards in 2006. Aston Martin of James Bond. We first saw the Aston Martin car of James Bond in the 1964 Goldfinger. Aston Martin models were used in 9 James Bond films. 5 of them are DB5 models, others are DBS, VS Vantage Volante, V12 Vanquish and DBS V12. Where is the original DB5 used by James Bond? It is unknown where the armed DB5 model in the Golden Finger is now. Namely, the car was sold for $250,000 at the auction in 1986, but it was stolen from Boca Raton in 1997. How durable are Aston Martin models? Did you know that 90% of the Aston Martin models ever produced are still on the road? Over 65,000 pieces.